Hey, what's up, guys? Hope you're doing well. Hey, I'm coming at you this morning with a little bit of a strange testimony. Kind of share it sooner or later, though, so here we are. It's not that strange. It's actually pretty cool. The only reason it's strange is because it is surrounding the gift of tongues. Okay, so that's some of y'all's least favorite phrase in the Bible. That's okay with me. Can't say it makes me feel particularly comfortable either. But anyways, this is a secondhand testimony. Someone that I was listening to them give a talk about the gift of tongues, and he just shared this testimony from his life within this equipping that he was giving. And basically, the gist of it was a couple things. One, that receiving the gift of tongues is not necessarily like this all or nothing, like, you've just got, an entire new alphabet with, thousands and thousands of words, and your body's just taken over, possessed, convulsing. Or you're just a normal human being like the rest of us. He was getting at that it can be very much a gradual experience, and for him, what he was sharing is that for the first, year, 2 years, I don't know how long exactly, but for the first long time after he had received the gift of tongues, really it was just like two phrases, like two words that he felt like were the only quote-unquote tongues that he knew. Like, and everyone's experience with tongues is a little different. I'm not really trying to I'm not trying to create a framework for how to start speaking in tongues right now. I'm just trying, whatever. I'm just trying to share this testimony. And so he's got like two words, I don't know what they were. He didn't say them to me. But to you and I, it would sound like gibberish, right? Just random syllables smashed together. But these are the two words that he, in his heart, his spirit, he gets the sense that these are tongues. This is part of a prayer language from the Lord. This is part of, speaking undiscernible things to God, and strengthening his inner man as a result. So here's what's cool. At some point in his life, he goes on a mission trip to Romania. And the main point of the mission trip, I believe, was to evangelize, pray, worship, etc. So anyways, he gets in the conversation with someone, and he has this idea, which is, I wonder if they can understand my tongue. Like, I wonder if my two words of speaking in tongues are Romanian, or whatever language it is that they speak. It's been 10 years since I heard this testimony, okay? Give me some slack, bro. Give me some breaks right now, okay? About the details, okay? But Romania, for sure. Goes there. He's like, let me give it a shot. He shares the first word, and immediately they're like, yeah, that means joy. And he's like losing his mind, like, what? Like, I've been saying joy in Romanian this whole time? And he goes, what about my other word, So he says his other word, and again, yes, and that word meant to give birth. So there's a couple facets to this testimony, okay? One, like, that's just cool, right? Like, in your mind, these are totally random syllables, gibberish, like just smashed together words. And it turns out that they are actually Romanian. Like, what? And let me just say, okay, I have had at least 2, maybe closer to 5 instances where I personally know someone who has tried this. Like, let me speak in tongues for a second to this person that I don't speak their language, just in case. What if they hear it in their own language? Or what if it is actually their own language, such as was the case in Romania? And over 5, okay? like total flops, just not successful. Look at you like you're crazy. And you're like, well, I love you. God love you. Just no recovering from that. Okay, so again, the odds that you could just create 2 words in your mind and they're actually significant words in another language, just harder than you'd think. And that it'd be hard if you were trying to do that, but certainly if you were not trying to do that and the syllables truly are as random as possible, just incredible, right? Pretty cool. Makes you feel like maybe that's something. But here's the other angle of this testimony, is that, and this is what he was getting at in the equipping, is like when you pray in tongues, you're not praying with your own mind. Like your brain is not really engaged with the prayer because you don't understand what you're praying. And as a result, it kind of increases your prayer endurance. In his example, because he wanted to grow in this spiritual gift, he wanted to exercise the gift that God had given him, but he only had these 2 words. I mean, he was praying these 2 words all the time, way more than he would have been able to stomach intellectually. And here's what's cool about that, is he actually wasn't just praying. Now we know what he was praying. Normally if you're praying in tongues, you never have a clue what it is that you're saying. You just sound like a babbling buffoon, It's part of the most humbling thing about that spiritual gift. But in this instance, we now know, oh wow, this whole time he has been praying for joy to be birthed. He's been praying for God to move, to pour out his Spirit in a manifestation of joy, for joy to come, for joy to exist, for joy to be given life and nurtured and grown over his own life, over his family, over environments, workplaces, countries. He's been praying for joy to be birthed all this time. Whereas if he was actually saying, God, would you birth joy here? Would you birth joy, joy be birthed, joy, and in 5 minutes you would already be like, okay, what's the next prayer request? You can't. It's impossible to repeat yourself that many times and not hate listening to yourself. It's hard to describe, but you just have to try it. I mean, just try it, actually. See, whatever. You don't have to try it. But maybe you get what I'm saying. It doesn't really matter if you even agree with what I'm saying. The point is, he prayed for a long time for joy to be birthed, longer than he would have if it wasn't masqueraded by this tongue that he didn't understand. I don't remember really, within the context of the mission trip, if that led to salvation or any type of wow moment. I don't think that it did. That was at least wasn't the context of what he was sharing within that talk. But I did just want to share a testimony of this guy that been praying, and it turns out it was a real language, and it turns out that what he was praying was actually super encouraging, and that God was increasing his prayer endurance through this spiritual gift, which is pretty cool. Pretty cool, right? A little crazy, a little bit cool. What are the odds that I know Romanian? Probably pretty slim. All right. That's all I got for y'all today. I'll talk to y'all soon. Life is worship. God is love.